I think when it comes to meatballs, there's that every run-of-the-mill meatball, right, that you kind of know, and it can sometimes be dry and not very flavorful. And then there are premium meatballs. And part of a meatball being premium is a mix of multiple meats. Rastelli's, being this amazing premium brand, said, we're not going to just give you one meat. We're going to give you 3 meats combined in their beef, veal, and pork meatballs. They're going to give you the sauce, meatballs that are tender, that are flavorful, and that they are going to be simmering on your stove and just filling your whole home with that wonderful comfort food. Whether you want to put these on a sandwich, on your spaghetti, you're going to absolutely love these meatballs. We're looking at 5 1-pound bags of these meatballs coming to you for under $70. 5 pounds of meat, and not just any meat, 5 pounds of beef, veal, and pork with the sauce for $69.98. Free shipping and handling and an easy pay of $23.33 that gets this home. We're going to welcome in Chris Menser. He is a professionally trained chef. He's a member of the Rastelli's team. He is an honorary Rastelli's family member. Chris, it's great to be here with you. It's meatball season, dare I say.
It really is, and it's so good to be here. And I do love your top.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I know, I put it on and I was like, I really like this color today. It's nice and cheery.
It's very cheery, and it's a perfect time for meatballs.
It
and
is.
You just actually said it. Not only does the Rastelli use 3 meats, but this is a 4th generation. This is from Ray's mom. So 4 generations of meatballs. It's going to soon to be 5 when Brittany's kids and everything start making them.
Oh,
but
wow.
These are actually, when you talked about the meat, we actually use beef for the actual texture. You get that nice texture. We use pork for that flavor, and then we use veal for that incredible tenderness. Now, I'm using plastic forks to show you because I think it's really important when you have a meatball that's not made properly or with the right type of meat, you get a meatball that you can't break. Actually, you can't even get your fork out of it when you put it in. These are so tender, and they're just so delicious because it's those 3 types of meat. Now, there's a secret, though, Rachel, that we do. And I'm going to hold it up to show you what the secret is.
Okay, I'm excited.
So this is the actual secret. Ray's mom, when she makes her Italian meatballs with the 3 different meats, she takes loaves of Italian bread and she soaks this in water.
Oh my
gosh. And she actually pulls this apart and she throws it into the mixing process. Then the meatballs are seasoned with all the Italian seasonings, onions, and all those Reggiano Parmesan cheese and all the great Italian things that make meatballs so special. But the star, believe it or not, is the bread. And why? Because when you put breadcrumbs in meatballs, breadcrumbs soak up moisture and it makes it really, really tough and really, really hard. So if you had a really tough and hard meatball, it's most likely because you had breadcrumb.
I see.
With the soaked bread, the actual bread, when the meatballs cook, the bread actually puffs. And it actually makes the meatball very airy and soft, where all that sauce actually kind of soaks in during the cooking process, right? So that's number 1. The second thing that we do is our gravy. Our gravy is made from imported tomatoes, right, from Italy.
Wow.
We slow cook the gravy for 8 hours. And what we put in it is the onions, the basil, right? And we finish it with actually carrots, because the carrots make it nice and sweet. We don't want to put sugar in there. We want to keep it really nice. And it actually cooks for literally 8 hours in the pot. It simmers slow and low. And then what we do is we hand roll these meatballs by hand, the old-fashioned way. And then we drop them into the gravy and we cook the meatballs for hours until they get nice and tender. And the way we tell they're done is when you put your fork, when they're warm and hot, you put your fork in it, you lift it up. If the meatball falls off, the meatballs are done. So then what we do is we'll take it, we'll put it in the packaging like you showed.
Yep.
They're going to come to you just like this. You're going to get 5 big meatballs, which I'm going to show you, with the gravy. This is going to come frozen. You just put this in your freezer. The night before, you can take it out and you can let it thaw overnight. If you forget to take it out, it'll take about 20 minutes in running water in a bowl. But this heats up in seconds. Don't forget, this is fully cooked. We have taken the 12, 13 hours of slow cooking out of it for you. So you can take this and you can heat this up in a pot like I have right here, It literally will take 10 to 15 minutes, and you'll have the best Italian meatballs that you've ever had. This has
Oh my
become
goodness.
a tradition at our house, because it makes Christmas so much easier than having to
Yes.
slave over the stove.
It makes every meal so much easier. I feel, Chris,
Yes.
I honestly feel like I just got a lesson in Italian cooking from everything
Yes.
you were saying, from using the bread in the meatball instead of those breadcrumbs, from simmering, from adding all of those meats together, from sticking the fork and seeing when the meatball falls off. That's the tradition that we are now able to bring to our own families and our own tables. And it could not be easier, and it could not be more delicious, because Chris, I'm sure, like me, you've had many meatballs in your life that are just, okay, it's a meatball. This
Yes.
is a meatball.
This is a meatball, because when you use the finest beef too, we're using black Angus beef, we're using the fresh pork from our local farms, and everything is being done fresh in our butcher shop. Everything is ground and done absolutely to basically order. I mean, we actually bring these in fresh, and we hand roll them. You can't get any fresher. The ingredients, the Parmesan, the fresh basil, all the spices that we're using, and in doing it the old-fashioned way, actually hand rolling the meatballs, is just, people don't do that anymore. At least at a meatball that you're going to buy from the store, like manufactured meatball, this is not that.
Right.
You don't know what goes in meatballs, right? When ground beef, when they ground the meatballs, you just don't know what's going in that meatball. Does it have fat? Does it have trim?
Right. I feel like a lot of times it's kind of like the leftovers, right? And that could not be farther from the truth with these meatballs. These are really starting with premium meats.
Premium meats, there is absolutely no trim. It's all whole muscle. It's pork butts. It's pork shoulder. It's chuck beef, and it's veal top round, which is actually, those three make that Italian meatball. So, I mean, again, like, look at this. It falls right off the fork.
Wow.
I mean, that's how tender these are. They just come right off.
And look how
this is
large.
let me show you how big these are, because it's hard to make a sandwich with this. I'm gonna grab a roll and show you, but I'm gonna have to cut these in half. So when I make my sandwiches, I literally cut these in half because they're so big. You can make sliders with these. You can make a meatball parm sandwich with these. But if I take a roll and I'm just gonna take the half pieces just to show you, like, how big this looks on the roll, right?
Wow.
This is one meatball, and then we'll take one more, right? I'm gonna take one more half, because three halves are making that whole sandwich.
Oh my gosh, so you could take 3 meatballs and have 2 really large sandwiches. Chris, when we get the 1 pound we're getting 5 bags of 1 pound. About how many people will each 1 pound bag feed?
That's a great question. So these are big meatballs. So these are a full 2-ounce meatball. So at home, my wife and I actually cook up 3 meatballs for us. We split 3 meatballs.
Wow.
We each have one, then we take a half, because it's a good 3 ounces of meat. So 3 ounces of meat, along with, pasta or whatever you're eating it with, is plenty. But as you see on the sandwich right here, I'll put a little Parmesan cheese. I mean, that's a big sandwich right there, and that's only 1.5 meatballs.
Wow.
So you're gonna easily get, I mean, if everyone's having 1 meatball, you're gonna get 5 servings, because it's a 2-ounce meatball.
Okay.
But if you're gonna have 3 or 4 people you want to share, you want a little bit extra, you're gonna get 3 to 4 servings easily.
Okay.
But
amazing.
but Rachel, the great thing about it is, because the way it comes, if you want to just do 1 bag, you can do 1 bag. If you want to add 2 bags, you can do 2 bags. Or at my house during Christmas, because we do the traditional. At Christmas time, we have the manigat, we have pasta, we have meatballs, gravy, and this just saves so much time. But I take a pot like this, I open all the meatballs, I put all 25 right in, and I take the meatballs, I heat them, and then from there, I put them in the big, nice casserole. I do family style, I put them right on the table, and then everyone can scoop their meatballs and gravy out, and it just makes it so easy for the holidays, because we're so busy. And to do it right, and to do it the Italian way, it takes a lot of time and a lot of love.
Right.
And again, you're talking about 4 generations. This is Ray's mom that has put the love into these. I mean, when I first started with the company, I used to go to the butcher shop. Mm-hmm. And Ray's mom was in there, and boy, oh boy, you had to get to work when you walked in the door, because it was meatball time. We were rolling meatballs, and it was just a labor of love. She was over there just watching every step of the way to make sure the meatballs were always perfect, not only for the family, but for all the guests that came into the butcher shop. And it was just such a special, it was a tradition that the Rastelli family had. And it was something that Ray, and I know Brittany and Ray are all so proud, and myself, that we can actually bring this tradition to our QVC family.
Right. Isn't that amazing that we would all love to be in the same neighborhood as Rastelli's, right? And be able to go to them and pick up those premium ingredients from the butcher shop, because really, we all know there's a reason that butcher shops exist, right? There's a reason that grocery stores have not put butcher shops out of business, because the quality is there when you go to a source that sources the best of the best and works with local farms and works with getting the best ingredients and works with the traditions passed down from family generations. Now, even though I don't live in New Jersey where the Rastelli's butcher shop is, we can all get a part of that and we get to take home that tradition. And Chris, you've been mentioning gravy, and part of the Italian tradition is that a lot of times that tomato sauce is actually termed gravy.
Yes, and I'll tell you, I mean, I'm married into Italian families, so if I don't say gravy, the wooden spoon does come out. So I have learned very, very quickly that I'm going to be saying gravy, okay? But yes, so it depends where you are. I mean, there's no wrong answer. It's gravy, it's sauce. And I know Brittany has something about the gravy sauce thing that she told me, and I can't remember, and I'm trying to bring it to me on why, because I think it had to do with the first Italians that were trying to learn the language were calling it, because they were calling it bolognese because of the meat was in it. So that's how, and then the non-Italians that were, called it sauce because there wasn't meat in it. So the bolognese with the meat, so that was kind of the half and half. I think I got that right, Brittany? No, I didn't?
They were asking for gravy and sauce.
So they were asking for what the word for gravy was, or bolognese. So yeah, it was something along that. It's something like that. But with that being all said, if you call it sauce or you call it gravy, that's fine in your house, whatever you do. But I can just tell you this. This gravy is a imported gravy. It's made with San Marzano tomatoes. It's slow cooked with the freshest and best ingredients. Wow. It's made with love. The meatballs are actually added to it. They're slow cooked until they're tender, fork tender, until they just fall off the fork. They actually melt in your mouth, and the flavor that's in these are absolutely incredible. And this is just a little meatball bake that we did. We just took actually the meatballs, we put a little bit of ricotta cheese on the bottom, we actually added some sauce on top, mozzarella, and we just baked them off. And this is something that's really nice, that you can just take this ahead of time. You can put this on a sandwich or you can put it on pasta, but it's just really so many different things that you can do with it. I was just slicing a meatball too, because we put them on pizza. We make meatball pizzas with this. Yeah, I mean, we do it on a, there's just so many different things you can do with it, because you know why? It's done. It's simple. Right. You take this out, it's going to take 2 to 3 minutes to reheat. You can even poke a hole in the bag and 2 minutes in the microwave, and you have fresh Italian meatballs.
Because these are fully cooked, so the work has been done for you. Those 8 hours, the 12 hours simmering, all of that time has been baked with love into these meatballs. Over 100 orders have been placed. I'm so excited if you're getting these home. Just give us a call here on QVC2, 800-500-7590 to place your order. Now, still to come.